I'm going to go over one of the most important things that changed my mental health, because I was at the gym recently and I don't watch the news ever, but I caught a glimpse and it said the number one thing that 25 and younger individuals are dealing with right now is mental health. And I completely agree with that fact, because we've been taught the wrong things and we are focusing on things that make our lives worse. And if we can take control of our lives and our mental health, I promise you your life will be better. And the number one thing we're going to be talking about today is to avoid catastrophizing every situation. And what's that mean? And how can you actually use it to change your life? Well, catastrophizing is the state where you basically make a bigger deal of things that are actually not that important to your actual well-being of your life. Because most of the time now, our brains are being hijacked by our old brains from thousands of years, where we thought if we got excommunicated from our tribe, we would die. We would be basically slaughtered by the wilderness, right? That's not going to happen anymore, right? Most of the time, you're not going to be sent out to the streets because you failed a test, right? Your parents aren't going to disown you because you got a B in biology. You know what I mean? But we still don't understand this. So a couple of years ago, it was probably a little over 10 years ago, I was visiting my friend. He went to an Ivy League school in Cornell. I definitely didn't get into Cornell. I'm not that smart of a guy. But I didn't know people took college and university that seriously until I came to this Ivy League school. And we're walking around campus. I'm walking with my buddy, and we're going over this bridge. And all I see is these nets all over the place, like hovering around the bridge. I'm like, why are these nets here? And he's like, oh yeah, a lot of students were committing suicide jumping off the bridges because they got a B or a C in their class. And I'm like, not funny to talk about, but I'm like, that's crazy that people would literally take their lives over something that's really not that important in their overall objective of life. If you don't pass your test, what's going to happen? Are you going to go homeless? Are you going to be starving? Are your parents going to disown you? If they are, then you definitely should get out of that environment anyways, right? So I'm trying to do in this video is tell you how I kind of overcame that, catastrophizing the worst case scenarios. Was number one, I used a tool that I would basically play out what is the worst case scenario? What is the worst case scenario if I fail? And I had to do this a lot because on my entrepreneurial journey, I didn't really have any, guarantee of success. I was knocking on doors every day, but I was like, all right, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? Because I'm eating basically ramen noodles and chicken and rice every day anyways. So that doesn't cost too much money. So I'm like, okay, well, what's the worst case scenario? If I lose my house, I lose the money because I invest in this rental property and, tenants don't pay me and nobody buys insurance from me and I just useless. I'm like, well, I don't know. I was like, I was still pretty cute. I was like, I'll move out to Vegas. I'll be a stripper, join Chippendales or something. I'll just do that. Or I'm like, maybe I'll just go to the Caribbean island and bartend there. I'm like, actually better than knocking on doors in the middle of the winter anyways. I'm like, just do that now. So sort of thing, I'm like, oh, worst case scenario is not that bad. So I might as well just keep going, right? Because worst case scenario, my life might even be better. So that's the first thing is play out what the worst case scenario is. Because most times if you fail or you're failing, what's going to happen? Nobody's going to kill you. You know what I mean? You're going to die. And most of the time you're not going to go homeless. And if you would go homeless, homeless shelter for a little bit, save some money up, go get a job, clean yourself up, learn a skill, read a book, I don't know, go do drugs. You know what I mean? Fall into the trap of somebody else hijacking your mind, right? And then secondly, the reason why you're catastrophizing something is because you believe that the people in your community don't want to see you fail. I'm like, you need to have a conversation with those people because I'm in the position where I want people in my life to try things where if they fail, okay, we'll figure it out. What is failing? It's trying something, learning, that didn't work. So let me try something else. It's not really failing. The only thing you fail at is if you literally go homeless or you die. What's going to happen even if you go homeless? Like I said, it's not that big of a deal. So I want you to kind of step back and stop fearing the unknown, because the unknown is not that scary. The known is scary. doing the same thing that you hate every day and not reaching what you actually want. That's way scarier. And that's where people live up in their head every single day, because they live in this state of like, because they're basing what they think they should be doing by somebody else's standards. And I want you to know that literally the only person that's ever going to be living in your head is you. You're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you can like yourself, your mental health is impossible to be unlikable, right? Like, could you do everything that you want to do and try everything and like word to yourself and like yourself? How could you have, like, impossible to have bad mental health? Like, you know that it's just part of the journey. So that's just like a little tip that really helped me, because I used to catastrophize a lot of shit, and it didn't help me. It made me feel worse, and it made me just rush things. So I want people in my life like you, take a step back, understand that I want people in my life, that in your life, that want to see me grow and prosper. And sometimes that takes taking some leaps and taking a leap of faith and trying something that is a little difficult and a little scary, that you might not succeed at right away, but you learn something, right? You keep going. And as long as you keep going, it's impossible to fail unless you literally jump off a bridge, which I don't want to see that happen, right? I want to see you succeed. So talk to the people in your life, let them know that you have things that you want to try. And if they know that you're trying, and if they don't want to see you succeed, you don't want them in your life anyways. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of ease, because it helped me out a lot. But if there's other stuff like this, because your mind is the only place that you need to live for the rest of your life. So take care of it. Peace.